Flash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fee.
Hi there, thanks for staying with us here on Prime On, and it's time for us to get into News Flash. It's proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, still phones, Papa Papi, and we entreat you to grab some phones, some television screens, CCTV cameras. We've got also air conditions and fridges you can buy from us. It's very simple. Give us a call, and you can call the numbers on your screens, and do well not to speak to anybody on numbers you pick on social media. Just call the two numbers you can see on your screen. So you can also download the app as the Franco Trading app, and you're good to go. Our website is www.francotrading.com, and you can also go there and check out our branches where you can find us on all the inquiries that you can make. And trust me, we've got quality that we're giving you this Easter season. You can just drop in there. We've got some promotions that we're running that you can also benefit from. And don't forget, we're giving you 40% discount on any accessories that you buy from us. So do well and walk into our branches and grab yourself one gadget. It's Franco Trading Enterprise, still phones, Papa Pa Fie. We're grateful to them this morning for bringing us news flash here on Prime On. And I've got my guests seated here in the studio. We're going to go on the front pages of the newspapers, and then we'll get into our big issues. And we've got the issue of the NPP and the report that has been presented to them by the Michael Quay Committee. We'll be looking at that. And also, we'll take a look at over 90,000 people who have already registered for the CODES program, which has been launched by the NDC. We'll take a look at that also as well. Now, when we have time, well, we can tie that in as well. I'm sure by now you know that Napo has spoken about his decision not to contest for the presidential candidate. We're looking at that. I'm sure we'll dovetail that into our conversation on the NPP as well. So you can also send your messages to WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp line is active. We're streaming live on Facebook, so you can send your messages over there as well. And quickly, the Chronicle newspaper this morning says why Mahama government has refused to renew the Goldfields mining lease, and reforms in NPP. Edichun proposes expansion of electoral college, and that captured by the Chronicle newspaper this morning. And at the back page, you might definitely find some stories on sports, and so you can just go there and read some sports stories over there as well. Daily Democrats this morning says Mahama storms Gwowu for business forum. Government takes over Tamanga Mines operations, and KGL is the most accomplished LMC in Africa. That's in Daily Democrats. And government signs a fund management deal with ARB Apex Bank to support women and youth in agriculture. And Honorable Eric Opoku doing the most when it comes to agriculture. He actually intends to reform that place and make Ghana, food, in terms of our food security. He's intending to actually put that up. And so we're hoping that we're able to achieve that as well. Now, the New Republic this morning says CJ and ex-boss slapped with travel cash probe, and taxpayers footed bills for family vacations, not security. CJ owes $14,000, so auditors demand cash back. Daughter's flight upgraded, costing thousands more. And that's also captured by the New Republic this morning. Subri Ray disposes Boko conflict secrets as ashes of conflict traced back to Galamsey pits at Abewa Ninkran. Now, Yohunu under fire in Boko as faction demands Seydou Abagre arrest. Now, who is the founder of Ghana Education Minister Task Committee to settle that debate as well? Now, the New Republic reporting on these issues here on Newsflash. Now we're getting to it. And this morning, like I said, we're taking a look at the NPP. Now, we have spoken about this severally, about how the NPP was defeated in the just ended elections and what they can do moving forward. Now, the report that we've been waiting for, the Michael Quay report, which Honorable Adjo spoke against it vehemently and even termed it as bogus, has finally been presented to the executives. Now, they're going to be taking a look at it. Dr. Mwakumba has actually stated that the former president, His Excellency Akufo-Addo, should take full responsibility of it and even apologize in that regard. Is he going to do that? We'll find out. And also, master courage and go by the dictate of the report. Political analyst Dr. Asa Asante has also spoken to the NPP with regards to this. In the studio this morning, I've got Mr. Kwame Griffiths, who's joined us here. He's a former director for the National Identification Authority, representing the NDC. How are you doing? Good morning.
Doing very well.
Thanks for the time. I'm grateful. Great. Also, is Honorable Dixon Dumakon Kisi. He's also joined us this morning. He's a former MP for Anyaso too. Honorable, good morning. How are you doing?
Morning, KMJ. We're doing fine. I like the fact that it's Easter and I have to climb up that mountain.
Oh.
I'm hoping to be there this weekend.
You go there every year?
I'm from Impriso.
Oh.
So it's home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very excited. And I think I want to take this opportunity to welcome everybody to come have a slice of it. And, you know, I haven't tried power gliding yet. But maybe one of these days.
No, you should this year.
This year.
This weekend, I want to see you.
This weekend is reserved for maybe all the good things, especially the dietary stuff. And let me take the opportunity to also say that we have one of the biggest nightclubs in West Africa, or shall I say even Africa, in Co, situated in Rock City.
Yeah.
And I'll use this opportunity to invite people, if not at all, come Saturday night and partake of the club experience.
I emceed there last year.
Oh.
I did the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday back to back. His Excellency Akufo-Addo at the time was there on the Saturday and Sunday.
Sweet.
And we had Samini and
then
I was the MC for that. Yeah, Samini and Amachide.
Yeah.
I emceed the 3 days off.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Then I'm preaching to the choir then.
Yeah. It was great. Yeah.
So I'm hoping you guys are coming. Hello.
Yeah.
On that note, let me find out if Kwame Jantuah will be at the club. But it was good. His Excellency was at the VVIP at the top, and we had a good time. We had a good time. We're inviting you this time.
Good morning to have you. You're finding out that what I will come.
Yes.
I mean, Bugio.
It will be good.
But I heard something today. I'm not sure whether it is true. That Christmas was invented by Coca-Cola.
Wow.
Coca-Cola was a summer drink.
Okay.
It wasn't a winter drink. And they wanted to switch it to this thing. So, you know, Coca-Cola's colors are red and white. So they invented the Father Christmas, that red and white dress, and used it to promote Coca-Cola. Because Easter was the main celebration for Christians.
I see.
Not Christmas.
It still is, but these are American markets to enhance
exactly
program.
Exactly.
Oh, that's good. It's good to know.
Yes, I was very surprised.
But they still do heavy Easter band things.
Yeah. You know what? You're right.
Is it? I don't lie. I don't lie.
In early 1930s, they even created Santa.
Yes, I don't lie.
I mean, it's an enhancement.
I won't come.
But we should do this.
I won't come and sit on the platform and lie.
Festivals. You see, we don't market our
festivals. And that is the key.
Well enough.
That is the key.
All of these things.
So more or less, it was a business pitch.
Okay, so it was the Santa idea.
Yes.
Okay, and
so
not the Christmas.
The clothing of Santa, the colors and everything.
Yes, it's Coke. You know?
Okay. All right. Something we can all learn from this.
You've learned something this morning, which is very
good. Very, very good. It's something we can all learn from this morning.
Before you go on, the MPP are still calling President Mahama incompetent.
You read something on
the incompetent Mahama. Yes, the incompetent Mahama government. Mahama's incompetent government will fall in 2028. Come on.
This is when today?
Yes.
From
Haruna. Look, things that made you lose the election. Go away from it. You said the man is incompetent because he won an election and beat you. You need to have a different way to get the people in and stop repeating the old. Some of these things, I said it, moment you are going down that trajectory again, find something else. He's in power for how many months? For only 4 months. You're talking incompetent. What if he does well? Will you talk incompetent? It will go against you.
And you've got another election.
And you've got the next coming up. So look for new ways to attract the people. Look for new ways. You know why I'm saying this? We need a viable opposition.
Yeah.
We need a viable opposition. We cannot sit for one party to now go gang-ho. We cannot do that. So mend your ways, learn, move forward, and stop that old rhetoric. It doesn't help anybody.
Is the NPP party out of strategies?
So let me use the opportunity to first of all say a good morning to all of your viewers. In fact, you're widely watched, and I must admit, every now and then when I hit the roads, people refer to the program. So, let me give you some.
When you have a coach like him, would you be popular?
Yeah. So
we won't be going to the club.
With reference to the MPP, let me admit, yes, we lost the election. It gives us an opportunity to reflect. It gives some of us also the opportunity to reiterate some of the things we had spoken about whilst we were in power, which we thought were not in good taste, which we thought was not a reflection of the true abiding principles of the MPP. And overall, I think that we don't necessarily need what we call a reset, but we need a return to the ethos of the party. What attracted most of the young guns to the MPP, we need to just revisit that and have that spirit of, let me say, pre-2016-ish. And just be very to Ghanaians that, to a large extent, we are sorry for the letdown, because invariably Ghanaians had high hopes that we would deliver and deliver well.
Yeah.
Granted, like any prospects or any forward-looking statements, things can hoodwink you, and we cannot necessarily discount the fact that we had no idea we would be meeting one colossal epidemic. We had no idea that world markets would have challenges, which invariably are still very pressing on us. And I must almost forewarn the NDC with regards to the current economic battle between China and America, and the fact that it will impact our economy. Let's not be overjoyous. And I also worry because I'm Ghanaian. And when American prices go up, Ghanaian imports will suffer. We already have been hit with 10% tariff increment for the few things we even export to America. So let me just say that.
So this is a caution to the NDC.
Oh yes, and admittedly, I'm an ordinary Ghanaian, and if the NDC fails, I get hit too. I mean, basically, we all go to the same markets. I always said that when I get to the fuel station, the petrol doesn't know whether you're NDC or MPP. You buy it at the same rate. I don't think the NDC party card gives you a discount for buying fuel. Neither does it give you a discount for buying eggs. So invariably, no MPP wishes the country doom. We are hoping that the new administration would sail through and hopefully not repeat the mistakes that we did. But one thing is very clear to me, and my reason for joining the MPP, I think that the MPP has most of the time very audacious goals than the NDC. That is just my thinking. Now, in terms of the implementation, we had challenges. We had internal issues. We had people with varying opinions within the party. But as it stands now, I think that we are at the point where the plenty talking, I think, needs to come to an end.
Okay.
And there's a time to proffer solutions and to a large extent make the party attractive again to the numerous youth in the country, and to also be very clear in our mind if we need to depart from some ideologies that were incorporated or indoctrinated in our hierarchies within the last 16 years, and I think that even those who brought about, let me say, foreign doctrines into the MPP have seen that some of those things didn't work out, and we need to return also to our base. We may have lost touch with our base, and certainly without a small stretch of imagination, it's so clear to me that we really lost our base to some extent, but we'll bounce back.
Okay.
Even much stronger. Even much stronger.
Well, according to the party,
borrow from the words of Untumi, stronger than apartheid.
Okay. According to the party, the NDC government will fall in 2028, and so they will come back. Let's take a look at some of the things that happened at the presser. When I come back, I'm going to be taking the thoughts of Kwame as well. Lawyer Kwame Jantuah is also here.
Is despite part of his name?
No.
Kwame graphics. Oh,
Okay.
But KMJ, you haven't taken my thoughts, so don't.
No, I will.
Okay.
You are CPP, so before they tell you to another NDC. Now let's take a look at this. We'll come back and take the thoughts of Kwame graphics.
And then they rebuild and look forward ahead. And then, mind you, there was another finding in the Ashanti region, which was conducted at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, which came out that Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, who was the flag bearer's running mate in the 2024 election, was part of the reasons why they lost that election. And many of them were saying that former Education Minister Yaosei Educhum would have been a better running mate to Mahmoud Bawumia than Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. So we are waiting to see whether the outcome of this will mirror that of the ones that were done in the Ashanti region. We are going to
back in on a thank you tour from next week, which we refer to as giving thanks to God in all things. In all things, we give thanks to God. And we are showing appreciation to the Almighty God for the elections, though it didn't go in our favor, but we are going around to express our appreciation to the rank and file of our party. There will be a Thanksgiving service also, a Christian Thanksgiving service and a Muslim Thanksgiving service, which will also come on. So if from next week you see that the party, the rank and file of the party, the leadership of the campaign in 2024 are moving around the country, then this will be the basis for it. Then as a party as part of reorganizing our base, we are also going to embark on membership drive, which the various regions will have the details as to how we are going to go about the membership drive. So by and large, these are the key or salient issues that were discussed at National Council. Again, we don't want people to go out and distort facts. We don't want our members to make irresponsible statements. We are cautioning our members that report is in. We are yet to even deliberate on the report. So people should be very circumspect in their utterances and their discussions on radio. We are one family, and the most important thing is unity in the party. We should watch our utterances. It's not about accusation and counter-accusation. Let's stay focused. The leadership of the party has a roadmap. We know what we are about, and very soon the timetable for all the major activities in the party will be brought out for all of us to know and to prepare ourselves. As to what transpired at National Council, if you recall, somewhere in January, National Council had an emergency meeting, and at the emergency meeting, the council set up a review committee to do a post-mortem of the 2024 elections. And today, the committee led by Reverend Professor Iroma Akufo submitted their report to National Council. The National Council accepted the report, but there are several steps that we need to take as a party. As we receive the report today, we need to sit down and deliberate on the report. And key among the discussions that we had at National Council, and also based on the summary evening presentation that was done by Professor Makirwafe, there will be a need for some constitutional amendment. So based on that, the National Council has constituted a 9-member committee to look.
All right, so that was the press conference yesterday. That was where the committee presented the report to the executives, and that was the General Secretary speaking over there, Mr. Kodia, speaking over there on that issue. Now, they've decided that, well, they're not going to make it public yet. I'm not sure they will make it public because it's an internal issue they believe. But we'll see in the coming days if those reforms or those changes or corrections, if you like, will be affected so that we'll all see the party moving forward. But let me come to you, Griffiths. Your party, I mean, had an overwhelming, support. You had a very good win and all that. The NPP now is vowing that they're going to come back in 2028. Mm-hmm. In fact, for the report that they have received, it would inform them what to do, how to go about it, to maybe to kick you out of power in 2028. Is that a challenge?
Well, not at all. Not at all. First of all, let me say that from all indications, I think that, the NPP is still making some mistakes.
Even in opposition?
Even in opposition, their commentary, in their posture, hasn't really changed much. It's just the issues that have changed. And, look at the press conference. Where's the chairman of the party? The party chairman is absent, right? Such an important... But
there was a general secretary who equally has...
Who is the leader of the party?
The power to...
Who is the leader of the party? You've gone to a major election. You are expecting to receive a document that you have commissioned. People should go to the grounds and get you information on what actually happened that caused your defeat. The chairman is absent, you see. And put that aside. My expectation also is that the committee will not just touch on internal party issues. Of course, there are many of such issues. The imposition of candidates was one of them. Parliamentary, even presidential. People feel that, candidates were imposed on them. A candidate was imposed on them. The neglect of the grassroots, over centralization of party decision-making, all these things contributed to the defeat of the MP. I can sit here and if they did an honest job, tell you pretty much what should be in that document. Everybody knows that. But beyond that, I hope they will also look at the national issues that caused their defeat, because that played a major role. Look, I remember as director of IT, I tried to put together a system that really didn't take off, because people didn't understand where I was coming from. And I called it the categorization project. And I categorized voters into 3 groups. Actually, there were 5. I don't want to give too much details. My brother is here, they will steal it from me. But let me put it in 3 for the purpose of this. We have blue, white, and green. The blue are the NPP. So if you pick any voter, you should be able to put them in any of these 3 categories. And I made a strong case that all these groups would have different messages that you need to pitch to them. For you to cause them to act in a particular way that will inure to your benefit. For example, let's take the solid blue. What I said is that the solid blue will never vote for us, but we can cause them to sit on the couch or not vote on election day.
Which at the end of the day would affect the...
Thank you. Because if they don't vote, it's +1. If they vote for us, it's +2. But if they don't vote, it's +1. So you see, as you are looking at your solid blues, that is the MPP, what made them, because you lost the election not just to the NDC, you lost it to the couch. A major part of your defeat is to the couch. A lot of people sat at home because they had issues with the way the party was managed. And because of that, a lot of your supporters didn't go out to vote. And coupled with the fact that there were also national issues. And these national issues usually affect the whites, the independents. They would vote against you because of that. And this is corruption and mismanagement, arrogance in power. Your choice of the running mate played a role, you know. And I mean, Napo is a very smart guy because I have sat in meetings with him. I remember we went to a place and I thought he was sleeping, but when it was his turn to speak, I was shocked. But sometimes when reporters ask you a question, he tends to be a bit dismissive of the question, you know, like talking down to, as if you don't even have the right to ask such a question. That's what they play a very vital role in our in national discourse. You know. So I mean, all these issues, you know, we have to look at that. And I want to reiterate that not just internal issues, but the national issues. Promises that were unrealistic. If you say one village, one dam. I mean, can you put a dam in every village? In my constituency alone, you can count how many villages there. So you need to look, if you misdiagnose, you will give the wrong prescription. You know, you can't put a dam in every village. And then the person in charge of building of these dams comes out to say, if we say we will be doing any serious dam, this is not a money government should be voting. When I listened to her, I thought probably she was not part of the government. You understand? When you say one district, one factory, and when I go to Aguna, if just such as South constituency district, and I go there and you have one district, one factory, and that factory is some rice factory, what impact does it have on the people in that area? So then people look at it and say, is this there's much talked about one. And the voters, as we sit in studios and make these arguments, the voters are experiencing the economy. You see, when you talk about even the free SHS, look at the free SHS. Don't forget, let's not forget how they sold it to Ghanaians. Is that how it turned out to be? No, it wasn't. Because the impression that was created is that as soon as you get your child ready, everything else is free. It wasn't that way. Trust me, one of the
personal experience of that.
Personal experience. People who work for me that I put their children in schools, and the money that you pay, especially in the first year, buying the process. When you sit in studios and they say, oh, he's lying. And if I now go to yours, 10,000 CDs, you see.
So the NPP set themselves up for their own failure?
Exactly. So they need to look at that, and also they need to come to the realization that we are not in the Matimihu era. The Ghanaian now is awake. And you see, one thing that Ghanaians enjoy is that if you mess up, they will change you. If you go into the trotros and the taxis, they talk about it. So it's not just internal party issues you need to address. You need to make it a point that when you come, you will be a responsible government.
Okay, wrapping up for me. Then,
you see, so I think that we need a very vibrant opposition, like my brother said.
Yeah,
and
very necessary.
And for that reason, because was it the Hawthorne effect? There was some theory that says that people work best when they know they are being observed and what have you, when there's opposition and stuff. I mean, you can extend it that way. So for that reason, for the NDC, for my party to do well, we need to have the MPP saying, you did this wrong. You did, honestly, not the ones that we have seen with these...
Objectively.
Objectively. Not the ones that we have seen with all these issues that we don't know where they're coming from. Yeah, but you see, we need that kind of opposition, and I wish them well, and I hope that they will do an honest, post-mortem of what happened in 2024, so that we can have a vibrant MPP that will keep us on our toes to ensure that at the end of the day, Ghana wins as a nation.
Very well. Many thanks, Mr. Griffiths. Now, let me come to you, lawyer. Dr. Akufo-Addo says that the former president, His Excellency Akufo-Addo, should take full responsibility of the defeat. In fact, he's actually asking him to apologize as well.
I was going straight there. Look, you can do everything that Griffith has said. You can do everything that Honorable has said. Without party unity, it ain't going nowhere. And so that is the first point of call. The Amwako-Bas, the
also spoke about it.
The 90 MPs, if you do not bring them together and try and sort out the challenges of your members who are dissatisfied with a particular style of governance, it ain't going nowhere. Because what did Amakoba say? The chairman should have thrown President Akufo-Addo out of the party. And when you read some of the things he is saying, and let me just read a little bit if I can. I'm trying to find the article. The article seems to want to delude me. It is important that, he says, political scientist and prominent New Patriotic Party member. Is he prominent? Would you say he's prominent in your party? Amakoba.
Oh.
You say he's prominent?
Yeah.
He's prominent.
He speaks on most of them.
So he has a voice. He has a voice that people will listen to. And he says, Dr. Richard Amakoba has stated that if he were the party's chairman, he would have expelled former President Akufo-Addo from the MPP. According to Dr. Amakoba, Akufo-Addo cannot be absolved of responsibility for the MPP's defeat. How many people and how many members in the MPP feel that President Akufo-Addo played a pivotal role in the defeat? And if they feel that way, who is questioning him? Who is asking him? Who is making sure that some of the things he did, he's questioned about it and he gives right answers? Who is? I don't think anybody has that gall to do that. Probably afraid. They are still, and he says, they are still afraid to speak up. They want to talk about the president, but they are not able to because he is the one who caused the whole defeat. It should be put on the head, it should be put on his head. He is the person behind the whole thing. He became very unpopular, he became arrogant, and did whatever he wanted, even threatened his own party members, the MPs. Is that true? Is that true?
You are putting on
some of them, he's an MP. Some of them he actually campaigned against. How does that happen? If I were the chairman, I would have thrown him out of the party. Dr. Ba also criticized MPP chairman Stephen Intim for allowing Akufo-Addo to act unchecked, alleged that the former president even went as far as threatening members of parliament. Where is Intim? Really, during President Akufo-Addo's reign, I hardly heard Intim speak. He became a ceremonial chairman. Why? Why? And why would President Akufo-Addo intimidate his own members? What is it that made him go down that line? Because the MPP is not for one person, not for one tribe, not for a group of people. It's a mass party that should attract people in. not let people leave. But you see, the MPP are very loyal members. No matter how bad the party is, they will stay. Because they love the party. And if any leader takes that for granted, he's taking that for granted at his own peril. And not only the MPP, the NDC too. A CPP, afterwards, they forget it. Look, if you put money before loyalty, if you put money before party unity, then you are creating a huge hole that will be difficult to close. And where people feel, I have the money in the party, I'm the richest person in the party, I can direct anybody in the party, so because of that, I'll do anything I want. You are heading for danger. Why? Because it's the people who vote for you. It is not your party members and those you love in your party who vote for you. And the people see it.
And those were traits of the former president?
Yes, the traits of it. The traits of it. How can you go to an area and say, you don't vote for me, but because ABC? How? I mean, that statement boggled my imagination. That a president who the people have voted, majority of people have voted for, you can go into a particular area, an area that you don't have support. Instead of what? Mollycoddling them and attracting them, you said what? And then you go to another radio station and say, if you like, go and vote for the NDC. Come on. Is that not arrogance at its highest level?
Get up and greet you.
Is that not, it's not arrogance?
Would you also at a point maybe describe that as honesty?
What's honesty?
I want to do this for you, I'm not able to do it for you. Based on that, if you make
are
one
you
decision
not
to
the
vote for someone
president?
Else, you can go ahead.
Are you not the president of the entire country? Are you not the chief servant of the entire country? Are you not supposed to distribute the country's wealth amongst every region and constituency? Is that not your responsibility?
It wasn't a bold decision for anybody to hold him at ransom and say, okay, if you don't do A, I'll not do B.
You see,
But I believe that I'm the president, this is what I want to do, and it's for the benefit of all. And so if one person decides that I want to hold the president to a ransom, then go ahead and do whatever you want to do.
Listen. One thing we don't do well in this country, party members do not criticize their leaders when they do wrong. And it's high time we started doing that. I'm not sure whether you're in Parliament, when the 90 MPs went to tell him about Kwame, they came back with what? Their tails in between their legs. He just dismissed it out. And wasn't Kwame the main challenge of the NPP? Was he not part and parcel of creating the mess in the NPP? Can't we say that? With his style of getting loans and he not listening to anybody. Look, governance has got to do with listening. And I don't care comparing us to America. I don't care. It's Ghana I'm interested in. The people are part and parcel of governance. And the people gave you the power because of a particular reason. Because they felt you, KMJ, we have faith and trust in you. Go and do the best for us. Did it happen? Yes. You say, what? External factors. But that is your responsibility as a president, as a leader. If external factors in this company, join media,
multimedia.
If external factors affect you, your leaders would have to make sure they can protect your job. Because you working here are the ones who make it go. And if external factors are affecting it, your leader can't sit and say, I don't care. He has to find a way. And we expect it. And let me give it to President Akufo-Addo. He handled COVID well. He handled COVID well. However, the other parts of COVID, to do with what? The financing, to do with sidestepping laws, to do with people now going in and feeling that we can make money. That was where he missed out, because he couldn't have that kind of control to stop those who wanted to do what they wanted to do. Look, with this current government, President Mahama, he has a vision that he wants to follow, and you can see he's following that vision. However, if the lieutenants he's chosen do not see that vision and try and do their own thing, he will fail. So he has to have the whip where if anybody is going out of line, you can crack the whip Do not wait for anybody to come and do what? Spoil the vision you have, especially when you are going for a definite term and not being able to come back. So for me, I pray that the MPP can come back. I pray that my own, ideology and my own party in terms of the Nkrumah's movement can also come back. I believe it's vice versa. I believe a lot of parties should learn from the CPP and Nkrumah's challenges we are going through. And we also have to learn from what we have seen between MPP and DC. It helps all of us. Because if we don't learn and we feel that, okay, one day we come in and we come into power, and we haven't been in power for how many years, and we come into power and we start doing the things that others have done, we would have failed. Yeah. And we would have failed a nation called Ghana, and that is the most important point. Building a nation called Ghana. It can only be built by us. Can't be built by any other person. Okay. I'm sure people will say, let that Kwame Jantuah stop talking. Let him go and think of his party. Yes, let me think of my party. But you should know that with a strong opposition, we can build this nation. And that is the key. Building the nation called Ghana with the resources we have is the most important thing and is the overriding thing above any kind of politics that we play.
Very well, I'm sure. And speaking about that, I'm sure we won't get to that point where they say you're an NDC.
But they say it all the time. It will come up.
Don't get there today.
It will come up.
I'll be getting some messages. Kindly let me know if my messages are ready so I can engage our viewers a bit. I would say a big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise, still Funks Papa Pafi, and they're the reason we're doing this. And so please do well and go buy from them. You can call them and ask what is available, what's not, and you can just walk into any of our branches and make those inquiries as well. Now, you can also download the app. It's Google Play Store. It's the Franco Trading app, and once you download it, you're good to go. Our website is www.francotrading.com. You can also go there and check out our branches where you can find us. Now, there's one in Adabraka, and so anytime that you are close to that place and you want to check in, you can simply just walk in and speak to us. Our customer service is very top-notch, so please do well and come through, and you will not regret it. This Easter, we're doing some skirmishes, some beautiful things that we're giving away, so please do well and walk through. And we're giving discount, 40% discount on any accessory that you buy from us as well. So where would you rather want to go? Just come through Franco Trading Enterprise. Now, before I get my messages though, let me let you touch on this one. The running mate, Napo. A lot of people thought that he got presidential ambition, but he's actually spoken about it vehemently that he does not want to run for any presidential candidates in 2028. That's a good sign.
Well, I think I even watched Napo speak yesterday, and he was very clear in his mind, and felt that the prerogative of the flag bearer cannot be taken away from him, whoever becomes the next flag bearer. And I think there's something very important that Napo said yesterday, in the sense that he alluded to the fact that Dubois was overtaken by Akufo, and that there are no guarantees that even the current or our last flag bearer might necessarily be the next flag bearer for the MPP. Yeah. And I thought that was quite profound when Napo made that comment, in the sense that he's aware that should MPP get a new flag bearer, then that means his guarantee or opportunity for becoming the next vice presidential candidate is null and void. And then he also made it quite clear that though it's our tradition to maintain the vice president for a flag bearer, that is not permanency. So it was quite insightful to listen to Napo make these very profound statements. I think he was in his element yesterday, and not necessarily prophetic, but he wanted Ghanaians to be aware that a lot of things can change. And I support him for that. So two key things. One, he said that after Edubwahi won, the next race he lost. So there's still the likelihood, though he was very clear that the odds are very likely in favor of Bawumia. Granted that since the history should be our guide, we as a party should be open to the fact that there can be a new, change. Somebody from way back can just come and surprise the entire system. I, for one, if I had $1 million or so, who knows, I could put my name out there for...
You're going around 650 million.
I heard it's 135, 15...
No, that's for...
150 million to win. But if you can't win the whole thing, why start, So
that's a lot of money.
So that is...
$150 million.
Dollars, yes.
Only.
Where does that money come from?
Only. So...
But Honorable, quickly, and maybe it's a wrapping up for you, but quickly, is this the Napo you had expected to see during the campaign?
Yesterday he was in his element. But during
that was what you had expected to see during the campaign.
And I think that, as Griffin said, during the campaign, fatigue took a hold of him. And I must also add one key thing, where some people may think that I'm a bit difficult, but I, for one, I don't side necessarily with Amoako's comment. I think that as a leader of the party or the flag bearer for any election, the appropriate thing is to take full responsibility for what happens. I say this with the greatest of respect to the MPP fraternity. When I lose an election, I take full responsibility. Though things may have worked against me, I will take full responsibility. So I think that, in as much as we may want to blame Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo to some extent, I think that he will not be necessarily the only person, and we'll go into that behind the scenes. But I think that one, the choice of vice presidents or the choice of Napo was certainly in the domain of Dr. Bawumia alone. And I would be surprised if somebody influenced him otherwise. So if Napo contributed, then it's still a decision that was made by the flag bearer. Now, besides that, too, Kamala Harris literally asked Biden to sit at home and not talk. Literally, I mean, based on how the campaign
how she was going about. Yeah.
So some of the off-the-cuff comments by our former president, maybe Dr. Bawumia should have just said, President, please, can you just shut up? I mean, like, I'm just being a bit, crazy this morning, but I think that those things should have sort of happened along the way, so that some of these glaring comments or telling chiefs to get up, and those were like huge blunders, from a PR standpoint, from even a party standpoint, and I've always been wondering how that happened, because I just don't see how Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo in his element would have, with all the political knowledge he has, done anything of that, especially nearing a campaign. And personally, too, I think that one of the things that really worried us was that we should have brought in fresh faces along the line to get Ghanaians that new and a feeling of a newness.
What, reshuffling?
Instead of,
reshuffling.
Yeah, reshuffling. Instead of this maintenance of, even if people are competent, Ghanaians get wary when you keep the same people at one place for a long time. And let me even add that worldwide, a lot of ministers never stay at post for the entire duration, be it 2 terms, for very good reasons, even for, in a way, for power control reasons, so that there are checks and balances, and that you leave your seat for somebody to come over and allow for internal, changes, or as it is, administrative, machinations, which help breed competition and even help bring new ideas on board. I can cite, soccer as one of the key things where just one player comes in 10 minutes to, the end and makes a whole difference. So certainly, I think that was lost on us, and I would put that as one of the unfortunate things in the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's administration, where even JFK came out and said that those who are tired at post. I mean, when your general secretary tells you that from the way things are looking, if you are tired at post, please, if the president will not retire, you just retire. I mean, that was like, quite unfortunate. And then some things were a bit unnecessary, citing the likes of the LGBTQ letter from Medio, which also unsettled us in Parliament. And in concluding, I think that the NPP also lost touch with the members of Parliament. When the deviation came, and we lost the opportunity to appreciate that your party's strength is in the number of seats you have, and that members of Parliament should not be taken for granted. And unfortunately, we were screaming and wailing and saying all kinds of things, but it fell on deaf ears. And I think that moving forward, certainly the party needs to be very particular about people who represent us at the various constituencies, and to not necessarily hold them in overly high esteem, but to make sure that they are well-resourced. I was always crying because, listen, I have a constituency with over 350,000 population, and the way things are set up, if Sege gets 2,000 Ghana cedis, Anyang Sultum gets 2,000 Ghana cedis, and I think it's the most ridiculous thing. Yeah. So you're handicapped, and if you're not given an additional executive sort of role, then you're
not getting anything from anywhere.
Yeah, and that is so unright. Let me use that word. And I still am a proponent of the fact that, listen, Ashaiman, if NDC takes for granted, they'll have troubles, because Ashaiman is huge. And for that matter, the member of parliament for Ashaiman cannot be left to, to manage the affairs of Ashaiman just by himself. But the party needs to be aware of the fact that Ashaiman is like literally 4 constituencies or even 10 constituencies from the north. And we were shortchanged in Greater Accra. I always said it, largely because of the excessive focus on the north. And 1 seat in Accra is about 10 seats in the north. And it was lost on us. So strategically, moving forward, these are some of the things that we certainly need to look at to resource people well, and to not be vindictive. I think I suffered some, but everybody has a right to choose who he may support, and for that matter, should not be necessarily attacked for having a choice. And as members of parliament, I think the beauty of it is in being able to say as you think and as you feel, and not necessarily be, quieted.
Because people are going to hold that against you.
And these are some of the things. So MPP should appreciate dissenting minds, and that is one of the things that we lost, to appreciate, and rather we went fighting people who dissented, and for very good reasons, and if you have a party that doesn't encourage people to speak their mind and tell it as it is, and rather want to go even in just one line. We can't all be strapped in one color, I mean, necessarily as a party. So we'll see how it goes. I'm still very much in support of Afeyomakin, and I'm hopeful that the terrain, though tough, he will be able to manage affairs and get under the sleeves of the NDC as much as possible. When you have the NDC,
only sleeve, not under their skin. Their sleeve, rather. The sleeve is just on top.
The skin will go deeper.
But the key thing is that when the NDC starts hammering your minority leader, it's good for us. The base is much happier. When your opposition party is commending you, then you're in trouble.
Okay.
So I
you like the way they are going about things.
I think
awesome.
he'll get on his feet. I mean, listen, the terrain is new. Even Ayariga Al-Hassan, right? He's the majority.
The majority, yeah.
I mean, literally, I think he's not really fully landed yet. Because speaking of people who are missing, you were saying that our chairman is missing, but I think in the airwaves, for some reason,
the majority,
except for the fact that I heard his house in Boko is burnt, I think he's incognito and he should wake up. I love him, but I think he should wake up because he enteninka.
Let me move on to maybe but let's talk about Kode's program. I don't know what comment you pass on this, but I think that we can move on to the next
just a short comment.
Let
me say that
even after his house was burnt,
I listened. I didn't really listen much to the poll yesterday. I read, what was sent to me, but I want to distinguish between the 1992 elections and the selection of Aduboahene. Aduboahene was not, there was no primaries. I don't know if anybody remembers. And that led, more or less, Aduboahene's candidature was imposed on the people. He was rewarded for, he was the only MPP person, pretty much. If you grew up in the 80s, all we heard about was
the
Aduboahene.
word consensus.
Okay, it was an agreement.
Yes, that we should. So
but that's also.
So he was more or less rewarded because he was the only person who was talking to.
But it has to take a certain majority in terms of even that to be able to put you in that position.
Yes. So I think that that's very different. I always say that when you send a candidate to the grassroots, the kind of primaries and electoral colleges that we have now, and you campaign for the person to win the primaries. Not only that, you send the person to a general election. It's very difficult I'm not saying it's impossible, but very difficult to change that candidate. Very, very difficult. Because his name, he has the biggest name ID in the party. He gains the biggest name ID in the party because you've sent him to a general election. So it becomes very difficult to change such a candidate. I just want to make that point. As one of the things that he said, we need to draw the contrast between what happened. Kufuor came in as a unifier and a person who also more or less opposed the way Aduboahene ran his campaign. But I listened to Aduboahene because I was politically very active at that time. And I was shocked that most of the time he mounted the stage and I didn't see any policy initiative apart from saying that the government has killed people, that's all what he was saying, pretty much. You see, so I was like, you know what? Jesus Christ.
That was early days of politics in Ghana.
Yes, so you see, Kufuor came up with we need a message. So he came more or less as opposed to the Aduboahene's style of this thing, and he was also rewarded. So I think the difference has to be made very clear. In this particular case, that's why I try to bring in, without really going into specifics, that the way the government was run has to be. If you refuse to factor that into why you lost the election.
Oh, I have not.
That's the point he's making.
It was.
But you see, the Makokwe committee report is a different report from what I am talking about. The Makokwe Committee report is finding out from party faithfuls what went wrong.
And yours is from which?
And I'm looking at it from a nationalistic point of view.
It's the same people that
Let me add that we are of the school of thought that even World War II is being researched now.
Yes.
And in as much as Michael Quay's report has come out, there'll be other varying reports.
It's very important.
So let me just add that we won't end there.
Okay.
Others have also commissioned private, not necessarily private members' bill, but this is private interrogation from people who did not vote.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, and that also.
So we have a balance.
Yes, and I think it will be watch the media space in a couple of weeks or so. There's going to be a report on those who did not vote. Shall I say those who, you know, the apathy, segment. Yes. So I've personally said that, listen, our political science departments in this country need to wake up and find ways to add some rich research to the, you know, the narrative. And personally, I know that if I was in other jurisdictions, by now there would have been, you know, professors, about 10 research documents already out. Okay. And these are sort of the things that should push the political science, you know, departments in this country. Legon should have about 3 minimum, Tech something, UCC something, and this will inure to the benefit of the general population and even the parties, and so government. So this is a challenge.
Moving forward, we have to be looking.
You know, this is a challenge I'm throwing out to people. Say that I don't, you know, but it is a challenge. I mean, listen. Current affairs already in Barnes and Noble. There are books, thousands of books on Trump. It's just 100 days. What are we doing as Ghanaians? We need to write our own narrative. Let's not wait for.
I think the problem is that, and I don't know if our lawyer has anything to say before. The reason why I want you to address the Codex program, we want to understand it better. So maybe we need to have you, and then we'll
definitely have something to say.
No, of course. But I'm talking about the next.
So when you say I have anything to say, it's not right.
Oh, you
have
do.
Something to say.
Okay, so I can.
But before he comes in, let me give them a thumbs up for borrowing something literally from the Biomea Technological Advancement Need.
For the Codex program.
Yes. I mean,
okay. No, Griffiths will make us understand it better. Let me take that.
We tout the need for technological
advancement. Honorable is mentioning research,
digitalization,
and during the elections, you remember that there were a lot of researchers that were coming out in terms of who is going to be where, who's going to be that. In fact, Global Info Analytics brought a lot of researchers, which the NPP actually said that they don't believe in it. They got to a point they disagreed with many of the things that they, you know, put out there. Professors, doctors, political scientists are speaking now. They're telling the NPP what to do because they believe that one person has to take responsibility. Is what Honorable is saying right now not the same thing that we saw when we had the elections, when all these researchers were coming out? Do political parties listen to researchers? Even the NDC.
I think at the time the NPP were full of themselves. And they thought nothing could eject them from power. And because of that kind of tunnel vision, they weren't listening to anybody. But let me say, we have a viewer watching us in the UK, and she says she loves your objectivity.
The first NPP to be objective.
Yes, they love your objectivity, and she's enjoying the discussions.
Awesome.
So it goes to show at least we're doing something. Something
we're grateful to them.
But the NPP wasn't listening to anything. It got to a point where it was just a small cabal that was running the NPP. Yes, a small cabal. And that cabal had power. And unfortunately, President Akufo-Addo couldn't control that cabal. And that cabal were doing things above his head, and he lost it. If they had listened to the research that was coming up, maybe it could have changed the narrative. Yes, they were so glaring and open. When international institutions were even warning you, you threw all that out through the window. So I hope we would take these academia and people who do all these analyses. We hope we will take it and then move with it. With my own nephew, Napo. Napo is a gentleman. I mean, when you see how he interacted with his people in the Ministry of Energy, he said it as it is with them. He didn't mince words, but he also held their hand. He was a real, if I can use the word, better comes beginning and close, industry person within the Ministry of Energy. Unfortunately, look, running elections in this country is not easy. Going on campaign is not easy. The pressures that come on you, that push you to say things you don't want to say. By the time you realize, you said it without even thinking. And I think that kind of disease did what? Affected my dear nephew.
So he wasn't ready then?
It wasn't a matter he wasn't ready.
Because others have also gone through the same pressures and they've been able to manage.
Well. Others have had years of experience.
Granted.
President Akufo, President Mahama.
Yeah.
President Akufo-Addo. This Oduboahene thing you're talking about, I remember, I was a young boy then. When Oduboahene was talking, people like my father were writing articles in the Pioneer. Writing articles in the Pioneer, telling, what do you call it, Oduboahene, to talk well and to do the right things. I mean, in those days, the newspapers were the
carried a lot of weight.
Yes, carried weight. Yeah. And the intellectuals were in politics, and they were saying the things that the parties in power weren't doing. Equally, CPP, UP. It wasn't a one-sided thing. Today, does it happen? And unfortunately today, we don't have the kind of media that go out and specialize in specific areas and have the power to hold politicians responsibility. When you go to places like the UK, those two brothers in the UK, I've forgotten their names. They one ran Question Time in the UK. Two brothers, they were journalists. When they have a politician sitting in front of them, forget it. They will ask the pertinent questions. And if you, the politician, you are not cued, you lose it. Yeah. And we expect that kind of thing of our media, where the media can take on President Akufo-Addo, can take on President Mahama, can take on any president and ask him the pertinent questions without fear of favor.
Like, are you a corrupt person?
Are you a corrupt person? You said you would do this. You did not do it. These are the factors we see. This is where we see you are heading for. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Because the fear is that...
Why do you keep Oforiatta in...
Well, whatever the case is, you see, and the fear is that the moment you do that, the political party decides to boycott your station. And it's happening.
It's happening. I mean,
it's happening.
We've gone through that.
But the media is the central point of any political dispensation. Why? Because the media work with the party in power, and most importantly, they work with the people.
They didn't work with us, though.
Well, it depends. They didn't work with you. It depends on how you also manage them.
Yeah, they work
you manage them, but it shouldn't be so.
It was quite...
it shouldn't be so. And especially where political parties also, some members have media stations. I think that thing should be banned. I think it should be banned. Political parties should get out of the media.
There's Fox News in America.
Well, there's Fox News in America, but how we use ours? How we use
Fox
ours?
is also being abused.
Listen, wait.
That's true. Yeah.
How we use ours is detrimental.
And Twitter literally.
Listen. How we use ours is detrimental. Why? Because we go on there and what we do is we insult. We insult.
Trump is insulting.
Well, that is Trump. I'm thinking Ghana. Forget those people. You have the money they have. One billionaire can buy the whole of Ghana. Let's talk about our own and let's build our own.
Yeah.
We talk about democracy. Do the people really understand democracy, or they feel democracy?
Master Mayor.
They feel when you come and sit on TV, democracy is keeping me do at them. No.
Yeah.
Those principles that hold the foundation of democracy. It's up to the media to let the people know. These things should be taught in our schools, so that when the young ones become the holders of the country, it is part and parcel of them.
But
there are certain things that we were brought up with that is now part and parcel of us. And if you don't start there and you leave them ajar to do whatever they want and see what any other person is doing, what kind of people now?
You can't change it. You can't do anything about it.
With your permission,
and that's the fear, though.
With your permission, though, there's one key thing that I'm pleading. Somehow we'll sit here, have a very fantastic discussion, and somebody will go put a whole different headline on what we've said.
Yes.
And misquote any of us that we said this instead of that. And I'm becoming very passionate about putting some people in.
And what would be the mention of that?
In the sense that I think that if your sister station should carry our story, they'll do it right. But sometimes you sit here and a whole different foreign person
is picking it up, and it's also channeling another narrative.
Because they have a certain agenda they want to follow.
I really think that the media houses should also help us as panelists, so that when we come and we talk, and I mean, even here, sometimes the commentary on Facebook is off from what Jantuah has said. Even here, sometimes you wonder. And
those are people's personal affiliations to certain.
You wonder if they are even watching the same show.
But you see, to sit on a platform like this, you have to have a tortoise shell. Because if you don't take care, if you don't take care, you will respond to everything.
I'm sure he's looking at the excesses of that.
I understand where he's coming from. Definitely understand.
We all have to go through it one way.
They misquote you totally.
I mean, I've been on the media since 2000. I've been 5 years.
Can you imagine?
What haven't I seen?
Let me engage our viewers a bit. We'll come back and he will walk us through the coding. This one says that Ghanaians are already regretting for voting for NDC, and President Mahama Dumso is collapsing people's business, and you increase electricity bills. Wow. NPP is still the most attractive political party in Ghana. If we reorganize and put much efforts into unity, the 2028 elections will be a technological knockout to the NDC. We still have the men, and it's still possible. Master Planner sent in that one. This one says, good morning. So this is the MPP team that is thinking of power in 2028. In fact, most of the attendees should be thinking of the number of years they will be spending in jail, because these were the very people who robbed the country for the past 8 years, and you could see that the innocent didn't associate themselves in the meeting. They are making mockery of themselves, and Ghanaians will see them resting in jail soon. My greetings to Honorable Kwame Jantuah Akando. This one over here says, good morning, KMJ. It says that the coming back of NPP is imminent in 2028 if the party puts the right mechanism in place and also avoids unnecessary internal struggles of conflict. Now, generally, a party starts going to opposition the very day the new government is sworn into office. The NDC is not an exception, because disappointment will start to settle in from members and sympathizers. The truth must be told that the NDC is making a lot of U-turns on what they were saying in opposition, but are now saying otherwise. The NDC is becoming a policy prostitute. That is, they will be against a policy and later be supporting it without shame. The energy minister once said increasing tariffs of electricity is an act of wickedness, as it is giving excruciating pain to Ghanaians. But what is happening today? MPP will be the most vibrant opposition as always, and I'm certain we'll put the government on its toes for development. Thanks very much.
Tell them they don't know what is coming around the corner. CPP is building.
I
We are building. 2028.
Last says that is the NPP telling us that they don't know why they have lost the elections miserably. Let me tell them some of the things that cost them. When Akufo-Addo was baffling with our money in the sky is one of the costs. When Kenofriata uses our $58 million to dig the largest hole in the middle of Accra is one. When they mismanage our economy and turn around and give pensioners and bondholders headcuts was the most annoying part of the government. The arrogance and disrespect of the Ghanaian people was what gives them that humiliating defeat. As for NPP, never again. Okay. This one will be point of correction. The chairman of the NPP team was present at the meeting at the Alisa Hotel yesterday. The NPP is not above criticism, but the NPP doesn't need any advice from people like Dr. Amwakumba. He's not part of the party and not a prominent member. Well, he was a former member of the party. Akufo-Addo was once the leader of the party. He is no more the party leader. The obsession about Akufo-Addo is mind-blowing. Even in his retirement, people like Mr. Jantuah will not let him rest. Akufo-Addo have a part to blame for the party lost, but not solely the reason for the party's loss. Now, people like Amakoba and Alan will never come nowhere near the party again. Okay. So people can cry for all they want. The party has moved on and will definitely bounce back strongly. The Jantuah should respectfully think about it as that CPP, which can never be compared to the NPP. The CPP is not dead. They were doing their best to come back. So. Good morning, KMJ. I can see there is intention to reset this country and therefore want to call on all Ghanaians to help restore our image. The NPP, instead of thinking to reset the country, their interest is to reset their party to come back to power and do what? God knows. They can go to the sea and bath themselves 3 times a day till the end of Mohammed's administration and will never come closer to govern not even a single region in the country. Bam, Stephen Opoku, Saki Michelle Campus sent in that. Okay, let me go to this one over here, and it's coming all the way in Goso, I think. OPK, it says that regards to Dr. Digitalization, Baumia and Mr. Amankwa Ajare Isaac, NPP Siane West Constituency, the second vice and the incoming NPP, the Chief Justice has not done anything wrong, but it's Mahama and the NDC agenda to remove her and pack the courts with their members to trial former NPP appointees, but without evidence in court, they won't succeed. They should rather declare a state of emergency on Galamsey, in which NDC gurus are doing it with impunity, spoiling our lands and water bodies, and it's very shameful and hypocritical that the labor unions, CEOs, chiefs, imams, Professor Dampo, Catholic Bishops Conference, UTAG, Honorable Ablakwa, Sam George, etc. are all quiet now, but they put pressure on the NPP government to declare a state of emergency on Galamsey. Regards to Honorable George, you and your greetings, plenty greetings. This one says, good morning, KMJ. Please, Akufo-Addo and his appointees are the cost of the NPP defeat. Achu sent in that. And this one says, good morning, KMJ. I'm Nyako Emmanuel from the Chimedum. We all witnessed the challenging circumstances that many Ghanaians faced during the Nana Akufo-Addo's administration. The number of counter policies proposed by Dr. Baumia was overwhelming, from scrapping the e-levy, which he initially led in implementing, to the depreciation of the city. It was a difficult time for many. We have faith that Dramani Mahama will successfully reset our beloved country. The comeback of the NPP will be reminiscent of Arsenal's victory over Real Madrid yesterday. We need a vibrant opposition, unlike what we are currently experiencing. Congratulations to Emmanuel Kwame Jantuah.
I forgot to talk about that one.
The people of Tano South, Akuna Matata sent in that. Okay, many of the messages have come through, but our time. So, Griffiths will walk us through the Codex program. You have to be very snappy for me, because we've got only 10 minutes or so to do this. Producers, let me know how many minutes I have left so we can do this.
It would be better
if I
3 minutes for me. Start from the concept of digitalizing the
no, that would be a long.
It's short within a matter of.
Because if you can do this for me,
as a government, we started this digitalization agenda of the nation, and when I finish, the will all be quiet. Trust me on that one. First of all, we decided that we needed to have digital connectivity so that you bring everybody, afford everybody the opportunity to connect to the rest of the world. Because the MTNs and the Vodafones would only go to my village when they feel that there is enough, business activities there for them to recoup their money. So the digital connectivity, we had phase 1, which was the Eastern Corridor fiber. That was 1,000 kilometers of fiber that would start going through Volta region all the way to Upper East. And then we had phase 2, which was the Western Corridor fiber that will go through Takoradi, Lubo, and what have you, go up north that way. Now, we completed the Eastern Corridor fiber, and then had plans and everything, payments, ready for the Western Corridor when we left power. So we started in 2017. Then we also recognized that as the capital of the country, we needed to create a more vibrant metropolitan area network, which had about 400 kilometers of fiber within Accra and Tema, that will allow to absorb the nature of the commerce that would have to take place in a regional capital of a modern city. Then we said, okay, apart from connectivity, which is the most critical aspect of digitalizing an economy, we also need to look at where our application and data will reside. So we built the most modern data center in West Africa. In fact, we built 2. First one was a NITA data center. And during our time, the most secure data center on the African continent, which is a Bank of Ghana data center, which was championed by STL, was also built during our time. Now, so when we finished this, we said, okay, how do we modernize the ID system? Because don't forget, we inherited an ID system that was just a 2D barcode. We needed a smart card. A lot of institutions built their own ID system, the NHIs and what have you. And I personally did the study. And it turned out that we were spending about $60 million on the average on about 10 ID systems when we needed only one. That would be enough to serve the nation. So in 2014, we started the modernization of the national ID system into a smart card that will have enough memory capacity that other institutions, instead of having their own individual cards, can run their native applications on the same national ID card. And we handed over this system in December of 2016, we had the factory acceptance test of the system. We handed it over to the MPP administration. And I would say that, because, I don't usually do politics as is being done, I commend the MPP for grabbing that and registering almost 18 million people in this country. Now we have a national ID system that has 18 million people registered on board. Now,
the same one that we can't find right now. You know about that conversation?
Yes.
That all the registration we did, we can't find where the data is settled. You mentioned NITA.
Oh, no.
Yesterday.
There's where the data. I mean, I can't put out where the data is.
Honorable Sam George spoke about it, and he's been very angry about the fact that they can't even locate where the data is settled.
Oh, no. I know where he's coming from.
Do we have that?
No, let me tell you this. He's speaking as having a national, that's a national asset.
Because they want to rewrite it.
And therefore, no, that's a different thing. That's a SIM card registration.
Yes, it's different from what we're talking about. It's not the same place that is only the data.
Not the same. It's not the same. The SIM card registration, the objective of the integrated national ID system, which we initiated, and the NPP, took its hook, like a singer and bought into it, was the fact that we should have, first, for security reasons, we should have only one institution collecting biometrics, because they can be abused. And for costs, I mentioned that there was 60 million on the average. And do you know that we bought, I think, the 11th one before, in 2014, there was a directive from the center of government that, this nonsense must stop. So the SIM card registration has to reside. And the first one President Mills did, I was one of the people who criticized that it can only run on a unified, integrated national ID system. Do you know that as modern as these few years has passed, the current administration, under the leadership of the then communication minister,
that's previous administration,
decided for some reason that they should build another biometric system that will just register the SIM card. So you see, when you go there, they capture your biometrics with a phone. You see, that's not how the system was supposed to run. The system, everything has to run from the national ID system, so that for security reasons and for the fact that it is very expensive to capture biometrics, we don't replicate the capturing of biometrics. So that the PIN number of an individual verified under a on a secure card is as good as their biometrics. That was the objective. But they've deviated from that objective. And that's what Sam George is talking about, that we need to bring it back home. So that when it resides in the national ID system, you can tag identity with the phone number of individuals. Because look, in 2010, when we said we were going to have registration of SIM card, I remember all the telcos came with their lawyers. And I made a statement that, 3 things that are being squeezed together by technology is identity, identity, communication, and banking. A bank that refuses to see this in the future will be left behind. A telco that refuses to see this will be left behind. And today, what are we talking about? And anytime you finish with your registration of SIM cards, and you still have people calling to say that, and they succeed, it means you have done something wrong. So it is important to bring that data back to the national ID, which is by both administrations supposed to be the only biometric system that must run in this country, apart from the criminal system.
Okay, so the foundation you laid is what gave birth to what?
When you do all this, then you need to look at running these systems. One of the major challenges we have, because we expanded the GOTA network, and so MMDAs can connect and do business with the central government through a system. But the most unfortunate aspect, they don't even get personnel to run them. You need to train the individuals who will do that. Not only that, you see, when you are doing all this, you look at providing coders, providing developers, providing IT entrepreneurs as a service to the rest of the world. Silicon Valley does that very well. India picked on that. And do you know that in 2023 alone, Hyderabad, the hub of IT entrepreneurship, that was purposefully put together by the Indian government, funded to get to that stage where people can sit in India and provide development, coding as a service to the rest of the world, added $200 billion to the economy of India. So we are looking at it that way.
So this is what yes, all this is about.
Yes, that you need to create people who not only, my VPN is being done by some Eastern European country. I don't want to mention it, but you see, the point is that when you go to the US, a lot of people have hooked onto it because it's a good service that they are providing. So the objective of this program is not only to train the necessary manpower that will run all these digitalization agenda that we have done, and our people have really
taking it up,
but to also provide IT entrepreneurship and these coding and what have you, cybersecurity as a service to the rest of the world that would generate foreign exchange for our country.
Okay.
To create the nature of Hyderabad from India, Silicon Valley from this, where you have sharp minds put together, people who are, they say, catch them young from the very, beginning of their transitioning into going to college and what have you, to really get involved in coding.
Okay.
So that's the objective of that program.
Yeah, because of our time, we'll not be able to have an extensive conversation on this. I'm told that we're supposed to be going.
Not even quick comment.
No, you can only do that in 1 minute because it's 8 o'clock already, and we have a tall list of other things to do today. I don't know which comment you want to pass, but if you can do it 1 minute.
Let's hope the young ones we are coding understand the effects of what they're doing and how it can generate into business. It's useless just coding taking them through, and then the infrastructure that needs them to move forward isn't there.
We don't have that available.
However, even if that infrastructure isn't there, they should be taught the principles of business so that if they want to do it themselves,
they can still go about it. It makes a lot of sense. I like it. Honorable, you can also give me one quick.
Well, I mean, this is, I think, in addition to the need to push for digitalization, and I'm happy that this is going to help with, many Ghanaians. Russians have always done this for a long time. I wouldn't even say India, but I must admit, I was the vice chair for communication, so it took me to India, and in fact, when it comes to coding and technology, they are way, way, way ahead, even more than America. And I think that if we partner with them, we will make headway.
Right.
Absolutely.
But we should teach it in our schools, eh? What we're going there,
next week you should be able to provide us the blueprint of what you intend to do with this. I know it's going to be decentralized, which is a good thing. I mean,
yes, it is.
That's the basic. But we need to understand, just like a lawyer wants to find out.
Yes, the program, like lawyer said, it's meaningless if they just learn how to program.
They can help us with our traffic lights.
So it has to be integrated in that, because the objective is government cannot hire a million IT professionals. But you know who can hire them? The rest of the world.
Yeah, companies.
Yes, the rest of the world can hire them.
Okay.
The rest of the world can hire them does not mean they would have to live in the US.
They can read remotely.
India has done
make
it.
money.
They can live here and make the money here.
I have a nephew who lives in London but comes to Ghana often. And when he comes, he is working here and making money out there.
I'm teaching here.
Okay, so on that note, we'll end our conversation here today, but I'm grateful to Mr. Osei.
And just to add, GRA, don't start going in there and dismantling people. Let them make some money small for at least five years before you now start going in there.
Thank you to
I have to write that down.